Hello everyone. We'll discuss 2020 NEET paper conducted on 13th September, and we'll discuss this chemistry paper. So let's start with question number one. It is given which of the following amines will give carbylamine test. So you all know that carbylamine test is test of 1 degree and aromatic amines. So in this case, you will see this is 2 degree amine, this is 3 degree amine, and this is 2 degree amine, and this is 1 degree amine. So you can easily judge that your answer must be 1. So you can see the solution, and when aniline is treated with chloroform in presence of base, it produces isocyanate with a foul smell. So our answer must be 1. Although for answer this much is not needed, but I have given complete explanation. Now to the next question. In the next question is given an alkene on ozonolysis gives methanol as one of the product in the structure. So you all know that in ozonolysis process, we'll remove double bond and we'll add C double bond O. So I have written the ozonolysis product. You have to check methanol, that means formaldehyde. So that is formed in reaction number 3. That is formed in reaction number 3. So your answer must be 3 for this question. You can check the products. In the first case, it is cyclohexane ring and CH double bond CH3. So on ozonolysis, this pi bond will be broken, and here we get C double bond. On other end, we get CH3 CHO. In the other case, this pi bond will be broken, and then product will be CHO and CHO in both the places. Third case, this is the place from where pi bond will be cleaved, and we'll get formaldehyde. This is our answer. And in the fourth case, this is the pi bond which will be cleaved, and we'll get CHO and CHO at both ends. In all the cases, it is reductive ozonolysis with ozones in water, right? Because methanol will be formed only in case of reductive ozonolysis. You can say it is a minor fault of the question. In case of ozonolysis, you can take oxidative ozonolysis also, then in any of these product methanol will not be formed. Otherwise, if you will consider reductive ozonolysis, then answer is 3 for this question. So most appropriate answer is 3 over here. Then to the next question given, match the following, identify the correct options. So we have carbon monoxide and hydrogen. This is basically synthesis gas. So for this option, we can write third one. Temporary hardness is because of bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. So this is first one. B2S6 structure we can refer, it has 3 center 2 electron bond, that's why it is electron deficient. So we can put electron deficient in this case. That means answer is 2 over here. And then H2O2 is a non-planar structure because its structure is open book structure. It looks like a planar structure, but it is actually an open book structure, so it is non-planar. That means for H2O2 we should write 4. So now if you compare with the options, we have to match with the options of 3, 1, 2, 4. So with 3, 1, 2, 4, its answer will be first. So for third question, your answer is 1. For this question, your answer is 1. Okay. Then to the next question. This is question number 4. It's when the freezing point constant Kf for benzene is 5.12 Kelvin kg per mole. The freezing point depression of solution of molarity is 0.78 m, containing a non-electrolyte solute in the benzene and rounded off decimal places. So you know this is question from colligative property. So formula is delta Tf is equal to Kf into m. Kf is given 1.52, molarity is 0.78. To multiply, it comes out to be 0.399. We have to round it off to 2 place of decimal, so we'll write 0.04 as an answer. So answer for this question is third. Okay. Then the next question is given on the electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acids using platinum electrode. So you can see these are inert electrode. So platinum is inert electrode. The product obtained at anode would be. So we all know that at anode oxidation takes place. Okay, and sulfuric acid contains H plus and SO4 2 minus, and it is dilute sulfuric acid, so it contains water also. So instead of electrolysis of HSO4 minus, preferential electrolysis will take place for water, and it produces oxygen at anode. So our answer will be 2 over here. Clear? For more details, you can refer electrochemistry chapter of class 12 NCERT. There it is clearly given electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acid and concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, so this is the case of dilute sulfuric acid. Next it is question number 6. It's given identify the compound X in the following reaction sequence. So first case it is given toluene treated with chlorine sunlight. So it is free radical substitution. So we can substitute 1Cl, 1H, 2H or 3H depending upon the case. So CH3 is there, we have substituted first 1Cl, then 2Cl and then 3Cl. And if it undergoes hydrolysis, then there is nucleophilic substitution. Instead of Cl, OH minus will appear. So product will be C6H5CH2OH in this case. Here 2Cl will be substituted by 2OH, and we all know that 2OH are not stable at one carbon. So again dehydration will take place and finally we'll get CHO group. If you are not here, then first you can replace 2Cl by 2OH group, and then at one carbon 2OH groups are not stable. So it will finally convert to this product. And the last case, all 3Cl will be replaced by 3OH, and again 3OH are not stable at one carbon. So again water will be eliminated, will form benzoic acid. The question is asked that which will give benzaldehyde. So that means it is obtained from the second equation. That means our X must be C6H5CHCl2. So as per the given case, its answer will be third. Clear? I have written all possible cases. 1H replaced, 2H replaced, 3H replaced, and with that we have reached to the answer that X must be third one, C6H5CHCl2. This is the case. Is that okay? Then to the next question is given, which of the following has the maximum number of atoms? It's a very simple question of mole concept. What you have to do is first you find out moles, then multiply it by Avogadro's number. So in case of atoms, you will get directly atoms. In case of molecules, first you get molecules, and then you have to multiply with the atomicity, you will get number of atoms. So first case it is 1 gram of silver. So moles is mass upon molar mass. Mass is given 1 gram, molar mass is 108. So this is moles. Multiplied by Avogadro's number. So this is number of atoms. This case it is 1 gram molecular mass, atomic mass 24. So moles will be 1 by 24. So it is Na by 24. In case of oxygen, it is 1 gram, molar mass 32, so 1 by 32 moles. Then Na by 32 molecules will be there, and one molecule contains 2 atoms, so multiply it by 2, it becomes Na by 16. And in case of lithium, its atomic mass is 7, so 1 by 7 is moles, Na by 7. You can see in all the cases, denominator is minimum for lithium, and the question is asked maximum number of atoms. So where denominator will be minimum, number of atoms will be maximum. So as per given options, your answer must be 4. Okay. Now to the next question, it's given. Identify the correct statement for the following. Wrought iron is impure iron with 4% carbon. Blister copper has blistered appearance due to the evolution of CO2. Vapor phase refining is carried out in the nickel by von Arkel's process. And pig iron can be molded into variety of shapes. So this is actually NCERT based question of class 12 volume 1. I've taken the same paragraph from the metallurgy chapter. It's given that the iron obtained from blast furnace contains about 4% of carbon and many impurities in the smaller amount. And this is known as pig iron and casted into variety of shapes. So therefore, if you see the first statement, it is wrought iron, it is incorrect. It should be pig iron. And the second statement is given blister copper, so here evolution is of SO2, that's why it is wrong. And the third case, it's given vapor phase refining carried out by nickel in von Arkel's process, so this is also wrong. It should be Mond's process. So if I have to correct the statement, then first statement should be pig iron is impure iron with 4% carbon. Second correct statement will be blister copper has blister appearance due to evolution of SO2. Third statement, vapor phase refining is carried out for nickel by Mond's process, not von Arkel's process. And the last statement is correct. Pig iron can be molded into variety of shapes. That's why correct statement is asked. So its answer must be 1. Its answer must be 4. Its answer must be 4. Correct statement is asked. So its answer must be 4. Then the next question, it's given the tertiary butyl carbocation is more stable than a secondary butyl carbocation because of which of the following. So I have drawn the tertiary butyl carbon, this one, and this is secondary butyl carbon. So you can see in tertiary butyl carbon total 9 alpha H is there. So its hyperconjugate effect will be more than that of secondary butyl carbocation where it is 5 alpha H. So your answer must be hyperconjugation. Although CS3 plus I character is also responsible for the same, but here it is given minus I character, so that means statement 1 is also incorrect. Plus R and minus R effect is not possible, so its suitable answer is 4. So right answer 4 for this question. Right? Then to the next question. It's given the urea reacts with water to form A, which will decompose to form B. B when passed through copper 2 plus deep blue color solution C is formed. What's the formula of C for the following? So basically when urea is treated with water, it actually forms ammonium hydroxide and carbon dioxide. Okay, so A is your ammonium hydroxide, and when ammonium hydroxide is heated, it produces ammonia. And when copper is treated with ammonia, it forms tetramine copper sulfate kind of compound, or you can say tetramine copper 2 plus and it's a deep blue solution. So this is your C. That's why, and the questions ask the formula of C. So if you look at the options, your answer should be 2. Yeah, tetramine copper sulfate is of blue solution. So your answer must be 2. Moving to the next question, it's question number 11. It's when a mixture of nitrogen and argon gases in the cylinder containing 7 gram of nitrogen, 8 gram of argon. If the total pressure of the mixture of the gases in the cylinder is 27 bar, the partial pressure of nitrogen is, so we all know that partial pressure is equal to mole fraction into total pressure. So first we calculate mole fraction of the gases. First gas is nitrogen 7 gram, another gas is argon 8 gram. So mole fraction will be moles of nitrogen upon moles of nitrogen plus moles of argon. Moles of nitrogen is 7 by 28, 7 gram mass upon molar mass is moles. Moles of nitrogen is 7 by 28 and moles of argon is 8 by 40. So this is a mole fraction into total pressure. Once you solve, you will get answer 15 bar. So your correct answer becomes 3. So your answer for this question is third one. Okay. Now to the next question. This is question number 12. It's given an element has a body-centered cubic structure with a unit cell of 288 picometer. The atomic radius is, so we all know in body-centered cubic arrangement, atoms are present at corners as well as body center. So if you will see the diagram of body diagram which I have shown here is in this way. So it is corner occupied, body center occupied, and again corner occupied. So we can write the total distance as 4r. So we can write 4r is equal to a root 3 because total wider body diagonal length is a root 3, right? So r can be equal to a root 3 by 4. And here you can see that cell edge length is given to 88 picometer. So the radius of the atom must be root 3 by 4 into 288 picometer. That's why your answer must be 1 here. So answer for this question will be 1. Okay. So now to question number 13. In this question is given the rate constant for a first order reaction is 4.606 into 10 to the power minus 3 second inverse. The time required to reduce 2 gram of reactant to 0.2 gram is, so basically it is a first order kinetics. That's why we can write rate as k is equal to 2.303 by t log of a upon a minus x. Here a is initial number of moles and a minus x is the final moles left. So instead of A, we can write simply A is equal to 2 by molar mass of that substance, let's say M1, whatever is the reactant, we don't know that. So let's say A by M1 and A minus X can be written as 0.2 by M1. And if we write the ratio, then M1 will be cancelled out. So as per the given concept, rate constant K is given 4.06 into 10 to the power minus 3 seconds. So K is equal to 2.303 by T log of A upon A minus X. If we simplify, then time comes out to be 1000 by 2, which is simply 500 seconds. That means as per given options, our answer must be 3. Okay. So for question number 13, your answer is third one. Then to the next question, it's given reaction between ketone and methyl magnesium chloride followed by hydrolysis will give. So we have acetone, this one. Methyl magnesium chloride as a nucleophile will attack on this carbon. Okay, so we'll get this product. And then followed by hydrolysis, O minus will get converted into OH and the final product will be tertiary butyl alcohol. So this is basically nucleophilic attack of Grignard agent on carbonyl compound first and followed by protonation. So basically it will lead to tertiary butyl alcohol. So in the given options, your answer will be third one. Okay. So for question number 14, your answer is third one. Then to the next question, which given which of the following set of molecules will have zero dipole moment. So basically, you have to draw structures and then check which all have zero dipole moment. So first case ammonia, you can see it's a non-zero dipole moment because it's pyramidal shape. All vectors cannot be cancelled. In case of BeF2, dipole moment is zero because the two vectors will be oppositely applied, will be cancelled. In case of water, again it's a bent shape, so it is non-zero dipole moment. In case of 1,4-dichlorobenzene, dipole moment is zero because again two vectors will be cancelled like this. Boron trifluoride is also all angles 120 degrees symmetrical arrangement. All three vectors will be cancelled. Dipole moment is zero here also. These three vectors will be cancelled. In case of HF, it will be a non-zero dipole moment. In case of CO2, again two vectors will be cancelled, so its dipole moment is zero. Then in case of 1,3-dichlorobenzene, dipole moment is non-zero. Nitrogen trifluoride, it is again non-zero value because it is pyramidal shape. BeF2, it is dipole moment zero as earlier we have discussed. Water is again non-zero. 1,3-dichlorobenzene is non-zero as in the previous option. Then boron trifluoride will be zero as per the previous option. BeF2 will be zero because the dipole moment will be cancelled vectors. CO2 is zero and this compound is also zero. So in the question it is asked which has zero dipole moment. You can see with the vectors also. Three vectors at 120 degree will have resultant zero. Two vectors at 120 degree will have resultant zero. So like this, two vectors are opposite in last three cases, so it is zero. In first case, three vectors at 120 degree also makes resultant zero. So in this case, your answer will be 4 because it is asked when all the options have zero dipole moment. You can look the question again. And the question is given which of the following set of molecules have zero dipole moment. That means you have to check a case where all have zero dipole moment because in different options some have zero, some have non-zero. But in fourth option, all the molecules have zero dipole moment. That's why its answer is 4. Okay. Then we move to next question. This is question number 16. Here it is asked which of the following, which is the change of oxidation state of carbon in the following reaction. So you have to basically check the oxidation number of carbon. And in the first case, the compound is CH4. For CH4 bond that if we calculate oxidation number, then H will be +1. Carbon you have to calculate, so it comes out to be -4. In case of CCl4 minus, chlorine being more electronegative, will get -1 charge. So all carbon will have +4 oxidation state. So carbon will have +4 in the final product, plus -4 in the initial reactant. So it is asked the change in oxidation number. So it changes from -4 to +4. Hence the answer for this question is third one. Okay. So answer for the question is third one. Moving to the next question, this question number 17. It says match the following. So you have to check carbon monoxide. We know four oxides are neutral: carbon monoxide, N2O, NO, and water. So carbon monoxide is neutral oxide over here, so it is 2. Barium oxide is alkaline earth metal oxide. Alkali metal and alkaline earth metal oxides are basic in nature. That's why we match it with basic one. So it is first one. Al2O3 zinc oxide, these are amphoteric one. For this list, you can refer P block oxygen family of 12th NCERT volume 1. So there you can find out all these oxides. Otherwise, it is easy. And it is Cl2O7, it's a non-metal oxide. So most of the non-metal oxides are acidic. So Cl2O7 will be matched with the acidic one. So our answer should be, just a minute. Al2O3 must be amphoteric, so it should be 4. So it's 2, 1, 4 and 3. So 2, 1, 4, 3, that means as per the given options, your answer must be 2. Okay, so you can check this thing. 2, 1, 4, 3 should be the answer. So we'll write answer 2 for this question. Okay. Then to the next question, it's given which of the following is not correct about carbon monoxide. So this is again a question from environmental chemistry, NCERT of 11th class volume 2. It's exactly copied from that segment. First case in which it forms carboxyhemoglobin. It's correct. In the question it says not correct statement. Check it carefully. So it forms carboxyhemoglobin, correct. It reduces oxygen carrying ability of the blood. This is also correct. The carboxyhemoglobin is lesser stable than oxyhemoglobin. This is incorrect. and it produced due to incomplete combustion. This is correct. You can look at the paragraph of NCERT book. It's given that carbon monoxide binds to hemoglobin to form carboxyhemoglobin, which is about 300 times more stable than the oxyhemoglobin complex. So carboxyhemoglobin is more stable. That's why it reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. That's why the incorrect statement is 3. And carbon on partial combustion produces carbon monoxide. So the right answer for this question is 3. Okay. Then to the next question, question number 19. So when measuring zeta potential is useful to determine which property of the colloidal solution. So it is basically related to the stability of the colloids. Okay. So now if you like, this is again a question of my question from NCERT book. This is class 12 volume 1 surface chemistry chapter. There in the colloidal state segment, you can see this paragraph. I've copied this paragraph directly from that segment. This is exactly statement of NCERT book. So you can see the potential difference between the fixed layer and the diffuse layer of opposite charges is called electromagnetic potential or zeta potential. This is definition of zeta potential. And the presence of equal and similar charges on colloidal particle is largely responsible to provide stability of the colloidal solution. Because the repulsive forces between the charged particle having same charge prevents it from coagulating and aggregating when they come closer to each other. So your zeta potential is basically responsible for stability of colloids. That's why answer for this question must be 3. So stability of colloid is related with zeta potential. More the zeta potential, more will be the stability of the colloids. So its answer will be 3. Next question is given which of the following is which of the following is correct order for increasing field strength of the ligands. So you can see this ligand field strength is given in again in NCERT book 12th class volume 1 coordination compound. So I have copied this spectrochemical series. So here you can compare easily. So SCN minus is having weakest field ligand, then fluoride ion, then oxalate ion, and finally cyanide ion. So if you match with the options, it will match with the option number 1, Cn minus, C2O42 minus, F minus, and SCN minus. So answer for this question will be 1. Okay. Then question number 21 is given elimination reaction of 2-bromopentane to form pentene 2 is. So this is basically elimination reaction. So you all know in elimination case base will abstract the proton. This is 2-bromopentane. So base will abstract this proton and this electron will be transferred and finally Br minus will leave and we'll get pentene 2. So this is basically E2 mechanism. In that case, beta elimination takes place because we have removed H and Br from position, different position. So this is beta H, this is alpha position, alpha beta position elimination takes place. This is beta elimination. And then the major product is ZZ product, which is a more stable alkene. And dehydrohalogenation means we have removed halogen as well as hydrogen. So this is dehydrohalogenation. And the last option is even dehydration reaction. So that is certainly not possible because in case of dehydration, it is removal of H plus and OH minus. So here no dehydration takes place. That's why statement about option number A, B, and C are correct. So A, B, C correct means we'll write answer 1 for this question. Because statement A, B, and C are correct, D is incorrect. This is not dehydration process. This is dehydrohalogenation process. So answer must be 1. The next question is given 22. This is thermodynamics based question. It's given the correct option for free expansion of an ideal gas under adiabatic condition. So first thing we know for free expansion, external pressure is 0. So work done is 0. For adiabatic process, Q is 0. From first law of thermodynamics, Q plus W is equal to delta U. As Q is 0, W is 0, so certainly delta U is 0. And we all know that delta U is NCV dt, or better to say NCV delta T. So if delta U is NCV delta T, it simply means if delta U is 0, CV and N cannot be 0, so delta T will be 0. So with the given option, Q is 0, W is 0, delta U is 0, and delta T is 0. So if you check with the option 1 will match. So our answer will be option 1. Because nothing is given about delta U, so they have asked only Q, delta T, and W. All three are 0. So answer is 1 here. Then to the next question, question number 23. It's given identify the incorrect statements. We have Cr2 plus D4 is strong reducing agent than Fe2 plus D6. This is actually again a question from NCERT 12th class volume 1 of D block elements. There it's given electrode potential data. So I hope you have compared that Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus electrode potential is 0.74, Cr3 plus to Cr2 plus is minus 0.41 volt. That's why Cr3 plus to Cr2 plus conversion is easily favorable, so it is a better reducing agent. In case of reaction, if you check that, then Cr2 plus is used as a reducing agent, that means it should oxidize to Cr3 plus, and here it will reach to T2 T3 configuration because T3 configuration is there, so half filled, more stable. Similarly, in case of Fe2 plus, it is D6 configuration. It will lead to a Fe3 plus, it becomes D5. This is also half filled configuration. So with respect to configuration, it looks that both are favorable. So we have to compare it with the electrode potential data, and then we can say easily that Cr3 plus will be a better reducing agent. That's why statement number 1 is correct. And you can check question carefully that incorrect statement we have to mark. So don't mark answer 1. Next, it's given the transition metals are and their compounds are known for their catalytic activity due to their ability to adopt multiple oxidation state to form complexes. So this is again a statement copied from NCERT book of T block. You can see the transition metals and their compounds are known for their catalytic activity and oxidation state from the complexes. Exact statement is copied from NCERT book. Third statement is of interstitial compound. This is also copied from the same book. It's given interstitial compounds are those that are formed when small amount like small atoms like carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen are trapped inside the crystal lattice of the metal. So you can see the statement again. Interstitial compounds are those which are formed by the small atoms like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen trapped inside the crystal lattice of the metal. So this is again exact statement from NCERT book. You can refer the book. So statement 1, 2, and 3 becomes correct. Now the fourth option is given. Oxidation state of chromium in CrO4 2 minus and Cr2O7 2 minus are not same. This is incorrect because in both the cases oxidation state of chromium will be +6. So statement number 4 is wrong. And incorrect statement is asked in the question. That's why we'll write answer 4. Okay. Then to the next question is given identify the incorrect match. It's given unyl inium. So first you can either will refer to the NCERT book or first will write their atomic number. So unyl inium is U101, unyl trium is 103, unyl hexium is 106, and unanium it is 10111. These are the atomic numbers. I have copied the direct table of NCERT book. This is NCERT 11th class volume 1 periodic table chapter. So there it is given IUPAC official names and IUPAC symbols for the elements. Okay, so for 101 it is only inium, and that's IUPAC name should be official IUPAC name you have to mention. So it should be mendelevium, so it is correct. Unyl trium, it should be lawrencium, that is also correct. Unyl hexium, it should be ciborium. This is based on a laboratory name, so this is also correct. And the last one is unyl anium. This is 111. So it should be rontangium, which is given. Dermastidium, it should be 110. You can look at this case. This is the previous one. So it is mismatched. And the question is asked, which is incorrectly matched. So once incorrectly matched, that means you have to check D4. And D4 is given in option number 4. That's why we write the answer for this question as the fourth one. Is that clear? You can check it carefully. D4 is the wrong statement and it is asked which is incorrectly matched. That's why we write answer as 4 for this question. Okay. Then in the next question it's given reaction between benzaldehyde and acetophenone in presence of dilute NaOH is known as. So you can check the equation. If we take this is acetophenone when treated with OH minus, first alpha H will be abstracted, so it forms carbanion, and then this carbanion attacks on the carbonyl carbon, nucleophilic attack. So it basically converts to a product beta hydroxycarbonyl, and beta hydroxycarbonyl is basically aldol, and on heating it will undergo dehydration. So alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound is formed. In this you can say aldol condensation, and in this aldol condensation actually we have used two different carbonyl compounds for the reaction. That's why it is crossed aldol condensation. So with the given options we must write answer 4 crossed aldol condensation. So answer for this question should be 4. Okay. Then to the next question. Question number 26, it's given which of the following oxo acids of sulfur have OO linkage. That means you have to check peroxy linkage, which you will by name you can verify it's peroxo disulfuric acid. So your answer must be third. If you look at the structures of all four acids I have drawn for you, it is sulfurous acid first one, sulfuric acid second one, peroxo disulfuric acid or Marshall's acid is third one. There you can see it is carrying peroxy linkage, and the last one H2SO7. This is pyrosulfuric acid, and you can say oleum. So here peroxy linkage you have to check. That's why answer for this question should be third one, right? Then to the next question it's given. HCl was passed through the solution of CaCl2, MgCl2 and NaCl. This is also actually an NCERT based question, exactly copied from 11th volume 2 S block elements, and copied the paragraph, so you can check it carefully. This is actually crystallization, or better to say purification technique of sodium chloride. Calcium chloride and magnesium chloride are more soluble as compared to NaCl. That's why whenever HCl gases pass through this mixture, we'll get only sodium chloride, because this is a technique to get pure sodium chloride. That's why answer must be 2 for this question. You can go through the paragraph. To obtain pure sodium chloride, the crude salt is dissolved in minimum amount of water and filtered to remove insoluble impurities. The solution is then saturated with hydrogen chloride gas. Crystals of pure sodium chloride separates out. Calcium and magnesium chloride, being more soluble than sodium chloride, remains in the solution. So this is exact copy question from NCERT book, so there was no confusion at all. Otherwise, it is preparation technique of pure NaCl. If you know that, then you can easily answer for this question as answer 2. Okay. Then to the next question is given anisole on cleavage with HI. So first you should know the structure of anisole. It should be C6H5OCH3. When you treat it with HI, then we know that this oxygen lone pair of electron will be in resonance with the benzene ring. So here we have partial double bond characters. That means it is difficult to cleave this bond. This have partial double bond character between carbon and oxygen bond. That's why cleavage of such bond is difficult. So when we treat it with HI, then bond cleavage will take place between O and CH3 bond. So we get phenol and CH3I, phenol and CH3I. That's why the correct answer for this question will be 1. Okay. Then to the next question is given. Identify the correct statement for the following. So this is also again a question copied from P block elements of 13-14 group, class 11th volume 2 book. It's when CO2 is used as a refrigerant in ice cream and the frozen food. So first look at the process. We have to mark the correct statement. And we know that CO2 solid cannot be used as a refrigerant. This is basically CO2 gases cannot be used as a refrigerant. CO2 solid form, which is dry ice, can be used for this purpose. I have copied the paragraph from NCERT. You can look at the statement. With carbon dioxide can be obtained as a solid in the form of dry ice by allowing liquefied CO2 to expand rapidly. Dry ice is used as a refrigerant for ice cream and frozen food. So CO2 gaseous is given, that's why the statement is wrong. If it should have given CO2 solid, or better to say dry ice, then it should be a correct statement. Next is given the structure of carbon-60 contains 12 6-member rings and 25 carbon rings of 5 member, contains 12 6-member rings and 5 carbon rings. So basically this is written wrong. Actually it is given opposite. The actual process of Buckminster Fullerene given in the paragraph. This is also from NCERT directly. Fullerene is a case-like molecule of C60 molecule shaped like soccer ball called Buckminster Fullerene. It contains 26 member rings and 12 5-member rings. So 12 5-member rings, 26 member rings. Here it is given wrong. 12 6-member rings and 25 5-member rings. So it's given opposite. That's why statement B is also wrong. For next statement is given ZSM5. Next statement is given for ZSM5, that is from surface chemistry unit. So it's given ZSM5, a type of zeolite is used to convert alcohol into gasoline. So this is also correct statement. This is copied from 12th volume 1 of surface chemistry chapter. So here we can see that an important zeolite catalyst used for petroleum industry is ZSM5. It converts alcohol directly into gasoline, which is petrol, by dehydrating them to give a mixture of hydrocarbon. So this statement is correct. Next statement is given CO is colorless and odorless gas. This is also correct statement. So statement number C and D are correct. Statement number C and D are correct. That's why your answer should be 4. The statement number C and D are correct. That's why your answer should be 4 for this question. So we'll report answer 4 for this question. Answer is 4 here. This question is actually combination of two chapters of NCERT book. One part they have taken from surface chemistry portion, and the other two part they have taken from P block. Although zeolite can also be given in the same chapter, it will go to silicates, and at the end you will find out the same. But the catenary activity is given in the surface chemistry. Zeolite is also given in 13-14 primary group after silicates, but its ZSM 5 content is given in surface chemistry. So it is actually from surface chemistry and 11th class P block 13-14 group. Okay, so answer is 4 here. Then to the next question is given for the reaction 2Cl gases give Cl2 gases. The correct option is, so if you add 2Cl atoms to form chlorine gas, that means it is a bond formation process. In the bond formation process, energy will be released. That's why this process is exothermic and delta H is negative. And in another process, two chlorine atom combines to form one chlorine molecule. That means bonding takes place and number of gaseous moles decreases. So number of gaseous moles decreases, hence randomness decreases. That's why entropy should decrease. So here enthalpy as well as entropy both are decreasing. So in the given options, both decrease means answer must be 4 for this question. Okay, clear? Then question number 31. It's given paper chromatography is an example of, this is also NCERT copied question. This is 11th volume 2 of unit 12, organic chemistry, some basic principles and technique. It is copied from that segment. And purification technique part, you can see this is paper chromatography. Taken the paragraph for your reference. You can see paper chromatography is a type of partition chromatography, and this itself is the answer for your question. In the questions asked, paper chromatography is an example of, so it is partition chromatography. That's why we'll write answer as 2 for this question. So answer is 2 over here. Paper chromatography is a type of partition chromatography. So answer is 2 here. Then to the next question, which of the following alkane cannot be made in good yield in the Bood's reaction? So basically Bood's reaction is used for symmetrical even carbon alkanes, then only you will get a good yield. So symmetrical even carbon alkanes are preferred by Bood's reaction. And you can see in heptane it is 7 carbon, so it is odd number. And while in other cases hexane it contains 6 carbon. In 2,3-dimethyl butane it is also carrying 6 carbon. Normal butane it contains 4 carbon. And you can look at the structure of 2,3-dimethyl butane. This is symmetrical one. So symmetrical even carbon alkane, that means Wood's reaction will be preferred. So as per the options, we can write here that heptane cannot be prepared in good yield. You can look at the questions that the alkane cannot be made in good yield by Wood's reaction. So your answer should be 3. Answer for this question should be 3, third one. Then to the next question is given question number 33. An increase in the concentration of reactant of reaction leads to change in. So if you increase the concentration of reactants, then it has nothing to do with activation energy, heat of reaction and threshold energy, because these are the parameters or you can say special parameters of a chemical reaction. If we increase number of reactants, because activation energy is per mole, threshold energy is also per mole, heat of the reaction is also per mole. So increase in the concentration of reactant will lead to the change in basically collision frequency. If you want to refer this, this is also from NCERT. The number of collisions per second per unit time for a reaction mixture is known as collision frequency. So on increasing concentration, of reactant, collision frequency of reactant will increase. That's why, as per the given options, we'll write answer 4 for this question. Activation energy, threshold energy, and heat of reaction will not be affected by number of reactant molecules. It basically affects collision frequency. So your answer should be 4 here. Okay. And the next question is given. The number of Faradays required to produce 20 gram of calcium from molten CaCl2. So in the electrolysis, molten CaCl2 will produce calcium 2 plus and 2Cl minus. And for the electrolysis of calcium 2 plus at cathode, it will accept 2 electron, will convert to calcium solid. So for 1 mole of calcium, we need 2 Faraday charge. And number of moles of calcium, mass is given 20 gram, molar mass is 40, so moles is 0.5. For 1 mole, we need 2 Faraday. So for 0.5 moles, we need 1 Faraday charge. And with 1 Faraday charge, your answer must be 1 for this question. Because in option 1, it's given 1 Faraday, option 2, it is 2 Faraday, option 3, 3 Faraday, and finally it is 4 Faraday. So charge needed is 1 Faraday here. So answer is 1. Next is given the mixture of which will show the positive deviation from Raoult's law. So basically for positive deviation, uh, interaction of AA and EB should be more than that of AB. That way we can compare. Otherwise, it is actually a copied question from NCERT book. In case of ethanol, it is hydrogen bonding. In case of acetone, it is not hydrogen bonding. So when ethanol acetone solution will be formed, then hydrogen bonding of ethanol will be weakened. So AA BB interaction are more than AB interaction. So that's why its answer must be 1. In case of acetone, chloroform, hydrogen bonding will be enhanced, so there's negative deviation. Benzene toluene is an ideal solution. So just refer the paragraph of NCERT books is given. This means that such solution molecules A or B will find easier to escape from the pure state. This will increase the vapor pressure and results in the positive deviation. Mixture of ethanol and acetane behaves in this manner. So it is simply positive deviation. Exact copy statement from NCERT book. So we'll write answer is 1 here. Although all such examples are mostly asked from this book, so it will be good if we are aspirant or if we are preparing for such exam, then it will be better that you will learn all possible examples given in NCERT book. So here answer is 1. Then question number 36, it's given hydrolysis of sucrose is given by the following reaction. If the equilibrium constant Kc is given, then the value of delta G naught at the same temperature is, so we know the formula, delta G naught is equal to minus RT ln of K equilibrium. Just substitute the value. We need value of R in SI unit 8.31 joules per mole Kelvin. Temperature is given 300 Kelvin and K equilibrium is given or Kc is given 2 into 10 to the power 13. So if you compare with the options, here it will be answer 1. So for this question, your answer is 1. Delta G naught equal to minus RT ln of K equilibrium. Just substitute the value, you will get the answer. Now move to the next question. This is question number 37. It's given sucrose on hydrolysis gives. So this is again structure of sucrose. Sucrose is basically alpha D glucose and beta D fructose have a glycosidic linkage. I've copied the structure from NCERT book. This is 12th class volume 2 biomolecule chapter. So you can see on hydrolysis will produce alpha D glucose and beta D fructose. So alpha D glucose and beta D fructose must be your answer. That means your answer should be 3. Alpha D glucose and beta D fructose. So the right answer is third one. Other options you can see it's given beta D glucose, so it is incorrect. Alpha D fructose, this is also incorrect. Alpha D glucose and beta D glucose, this is also incorrect. Alpha D fructose and beta D fructose, this is also incorrect. Sucrose is actually a combination of alpha D glucose and beta D fructose. So answer must be third one. Okay. Then to the next question, it's given the calculated spin-only magnetic moment of Cr2 plus ion is, so we know the configuration of chromium, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d5. And when we remove 2 electrons, it will be removed from outermost shell. So first 4s1 electron is removed and 1 electron from D is removed. So the configuration of outermost subshell will be 3d4, or you can say the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d4. Earlier, all the electrons are paired. Only 3d4 configuration have 4 unpaired electrons, that you can see with the configuration. So in 3d4, it is 4 unpaired electrons, and magnetic moment is root over Nn plus 2 Bohr magneton, where N is number of unpaired electrons. Here N is number of unpaired electrons, and we have total 4 unpaired electrons here. So it should be 4 into 6 root of 24 Bohr magneton. And if you solve the root, it comes out to be 4.9 Bohr magneton, and the answer must be 2 here. Answer must be 2 here. If you want to do it quickly, there is no need to solve, because as many number of unpaired electrons are there, that will be the number before decimal. This is a trick I have explained you when I have taught you this chapter. Otherwise, you can simply solve root over Nn plus 2 Bohr magneton. In case of need, if you want to speed up, there is no need to solve. You have to just check 4 unpaired electrons, that means 4.90. So your answer is 2 here. Is that okay? Then to the next question, question number 39. It's given which of the following is a natural rubber. This is also actually copied from NCERT book. Says 1,4 polyisoprene is natural rubber. Natural polymer it is asked. So basically all examples are given of rubber. So we have selected the natural rubber. So here natural rubber may be considered as a linear polymer of isoprene, which is 2-methyl-1,3-butadiene. Is also called as cis-1,4 polyisoprene. This is natural rubber. So this is natural polymer. Others are polybutadiene styrene, polybutadiene, and polybutadiene acryl nitrile. These all are synthetic rubbers example. So natural polymer is asked. That's why we write answer 1. Natural polymer is natural rubber here. And for reference, you can see the statement from NCERT book, 12th class, volume 2, polymers unit. Okay. Then in the next question, it is asked, which of the following is basic amino acids? So this is again NCERT book question of biomolecule chapter. So it's given serine, alanine, tyrosine, and lysine. So we all know that lysine contains an extra NH2 group. Lysine contains an extra NH2 group. Alanine has hydrocarbon. Serine has alcoholic group, and tyrosine contains phenolic group. So these are basically, you can say, lysine is basic, while other are close to neutral group. In case of tyrosine, you can say slightly acidic. Otherwise, it is mostly considered all neutral. So in this case, basic amino acid is asked. So basic amino acid is lysine. So we write answer 4 for this question. For structure reference, you can see NCERT table number 14.2 of biomolecule chapter. And once you know the structure that lysine has an extra NH2 group, that means it will show basic character. So here answer for this question must be 4. Lysine. Next question is asked, which of the following is a cationic detergent? So this is also again NCERT based question. NCERT 12th class volume 2 chemistry in everyday life chapter. So you know quaternary ammonium salts are cationic detergents. Otherwise with the structure also you can verify. Sodium lauryl sulfate is anionic detergent. And you can see the statement from NCERT book is given cetyl triamine ethylene ammonium bromide is a popular cationic detergent. And structure I have shown you on the right hand side. This is basically quaternary ammonium salt. You can see ammonia has nitrogen has all 4 valencies satisfied. So cationic detergent is answer 3 here. So for this question, your answer is 3. Actually, all compounds you can refer in NCERT book if you want more detail about it. Then to next question, question number 42. It's given find out the solubility of nickel hydroxide in 0.1 mNaOH. So basically, it is solubility in with the common ion effect. Sodium hydroxide is completely soluble salt. Nickel hydroxide is sparingly soluble salt. So this is the case of common ion effect. Given that the ionic product of nickel hydroxide is given, so basically when sodium hydroxide will ionize, it will be ionized 100%. So it will give you Na plus and OH minus. And in case of common ion effect, common ion concentration is regulated by strong electrolyte. And the strong electrolyte is OH minus here. So that's why OH minus concentration is 1m. So if we check for nickel hydroxide, it will form nickel 2 plus and 2 OH minus. OH minus concentration is 0.1 here. Solubility, if I'll assume it is S. As it is a common ion effect, so contribution of nickel hydroxide towards OH minus will be negligible. So we need not to consider that. So need not to write 0.1 plus 2S because contribution of nickel hydroxide is negligible. In case of common ion effect, concentration of common ion is regulated by strong electrolyte. So it is regulated by sodium hydroxide. Hence KSP will be concentration of nickel 2 plus and OH minus concentration square. KSP is given 2 into 10 power minus 15. Nickel concentration is S, which is solubility of this substance. And hydroxide and concentration is 0.1 square. The solubility comes out to be 2 into 10 to the power minus 13 m. And you can see here that the contribution of OH minus is negligible from nickel hydroxide. That's why solubility is asked. So we can write 2 into 10 to the power minus 13. And with the given options, if you check, your answer must be 1. 2 into 10 to the power minus 13 m. So for 42nd question, your answer is 1. Then to the next question, it's given, identify the molecule which does not exist. And we know that if bond order for a molecule is 0, then it does not exist. So just check the bond order for all. I have written the configuration for you. Nickel 2 plus is, He2 plus is sigma 1s2, sigma anti-bonding 1s2. So bond order is 0 here. So this is the answer. Li2 it is sigma 1s2, sigma anti-bonding 1s2, sigma 2s2. So bond order is 1 here because 4 electrons in bonding, 2 electron in anti-bonding. For C2, if you will check 1s2, sigma anti-bonding 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma anti-bonding 2s2, pi 2px2, pi 2p2. So bonding number of electron in bonding molecular orbital are 8, number of electron in anti-bonding molecular orbital are 4. So bond order is 2, that means molecule exists. For O2, if you will check, it is sigma 1s2, sigma anti-bonding 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma anti-bonding 2s2, sigma 2pz2, pi 2px2, pi 2p2, pi anti-bonding 2px2, pi anti-bonding 2p2. So bond order is number of electron in bonding are 10, number of electron in anti-bonding are 6. So 10 minus 6 by 2 means 2. The bond order for oxygen is 2, that means it is also existing. So whenever bond order is 0, for He2, hence this molecule does not exist because in case of bond order 0, there is no bond possible between two atoms. That's why this molecule does not exist. So answer for this question is 1. Answer for this question is 1. Clear? Then to the next question, it's given the following metal ion activates many enzymes, participates in the oxidation of glucose to produce ATP with sodium. It is responsible for transmission of nerve signal. So this is a question of NCERT 11th class volume 2 of S block elements. These are actually biological applications of S block elements. And this is very important segment for NEET examination. And the question has also appeared. So from there I have copied the paragraph. You can see potassium ions are most abundant cation within the cell fluid, where they activate many of the enzymes, participates in the oxidation of glucose and produces ATP. And with sodium, they are responsible for transmission of nerve signals. You can see exact statement is copied, and hence the answer for this question is potassium. So we'll write answer 4. Okay. Then the last question. This is question number 45. It's given the number of proton, neutron, and electron in 71, lutetium 175 respectively is. So we know that number of proton is equal to atomic number, and here atomic number is 71. So this is number of proton. Number of neutrons are mass number minus atomic number. So this is 175 minus 71. So this is 104. And number of electrons are equal to number of protons, which is equal to Z because it is a neutral atom. In case of neutral atom, number of proton and electrons are same. If it is charged one, then we have to remove electron or we have to add electron as per the need. This is a neutral system, so number of electron will be equal to number of proton, which is equal to Z. So it is equal to 71. So protons are 71, neutrons are 104, and again electrons are 71. So if you refer the options, its answer is 1. So this completes your paper. Thank you.